Hey everybody, and welcome to Module 5, the first one of Module 5, I should say, on creating forms in ConvertKit. So there's a couple different types of forms. This one we're just going to do the generic general form. There's also what's called a landing page form. There'll be a separate session for that, as well as a session for embedding the forms when you're finished. So this is all about creation. Okay, so we're going to review what's a form, the different types, I've kind of mentioned those already, and then how to customize the form. So one of the reasons you need a form is to gather information from clients or for prospective clients that visit your website. Maybe you want to download a freebie or sign up for something. So a form is the best way to automate your marketing. So they sign up for something, maybe you send them a series of emails, maybe you send them a video, but a form is the easy thing to do. Now, there's generic forms, which are opt-in forms, and then there are landing pages. And landing pages are similar to what's called a sales page. So they're an actual page of a website versus a form is just a piece of a website. And all of the forms in ConvertKit are responsive, which means they're going to resize depending on the size of the screen. Okay. So as I mentioned, there's two form types in ConvertKit. They have the full-blown landing pages, which you see in something like a lead pages or an optimized press. They actually have these in here, very simplistic, but they get the job done because they are, again, for collecting information or trying to sell something as well. And then there are generic forms. And so this module is just on the generic forms, okay? We'll have another one on landing pages. And the beauty of the landing pages is you can use them for opt-in or sales. Now remember, ConvertKit does not have a shopping cart. It doesn't have that e-commerce piece, so you'd have to integrate it with something that did, which we'll talk about integrations in a future module. They're also hosted by ConvertKit, which means everything is done on ConvertKit. You don't have to do anything on your end. And you can actually put it on your WordPress website because they have a plugin similar to what Lead Pages does or Optimized Press does as well. So we're going to have the next modules on landing pages. So this one's just on forms, but wanted to talk you through that. Okay, forms you embed, which means it's just a piece of a page. You embed it on websites, and you can even embed them on landing pages. And you can host those yourself. And most forms are used to gather information. The forms you probably see the most are forms about, you want something for free, give me your email address. That's a form. That's called an opt-in form. And that's what we're going to be creating. And the beauty of ConvertKit is you can customize your forms. And again, remember, it's all about simplicity when it comes to designing ConvertKit. So they are very simple, but you can change the text and also the colors. So we're going to bounce over here. And we're going to go to Forms. And I already have a couple of forms created, but it's very simple. I can hit Create Form. And here's where you get to choose if you're going to do a landing page, if you're going to do a form. And it gives you a little blurb underneath it about what a landing page is versus what a form is. And we're going to go with form. And then I ask you, okay, what style would you like? And notice it gives you an image here, kind of inline, right? Very, very simple. Something a little more fancy with some graphics, or something with absolutely no graphics and just a line of information, okay? So we're going to go with something a little more fun. So I'm going to go with the middle option. Okay, and when you choose the type of form, then you get to this site where you actually get to make your changes. So up here is the title of your form, which we'll look at how to change that. And then this is the body of the form. Okay, now how you change the colors is very simple. You have a magic wand up here in the upper right hand corner. If I click on that, it shows me the styles that I can change. So I can change the text color, the accent, and the button color. By simply clicking on it, you can actually put in your hex number if you know what your hex number is, right? And let's say that I know my old hex number, so I'm going to stick that one in, right? So it changes my accent color. Then I can change my button color to, I don't even know what that is. I just made that one up. So there's the button color, right? So that's a little too dark for my taste. So let's go up here. There we go. Okay, and then my text color. So that changes the overall look of the page. So it's the wand up here in the corner. And actually, I'm going to cheat and I'm going to copy this and I'm going to make my button the same color because I like it to be the same. There we go. Okay. And if you just click off of it, it'll go away. Now to actually change the content, you can simply select it and type over it, right? You can also change the spam message if you want to do that. You can change the title. Right? I can change what it says to subscribe, right? I can make this bold, italicized, underline. I can put an image in here, and I can have this say whatever I like. Right? Okay. And then here's my image. Now this image could be an image of the item they're downloading. It could be your logo. It can be whatever you want. So you can keep it, and you're like, okay, well that's too many options. Remember, it's all about simplicity. You don't even have to choose this one. So I'm just going to stick a button in there. There we go. Okay. And then I hit save. Okay. How is that? Very, very simple. Okay. Then I can hit view, and that's what it looks like. Okay. I'm like, oh, maybe that's too much. And you can always change things up, but let's just continue with this one. So I'm going to save it. Okay, and now I can go over, excuse me, I'm already on content, but I can jump over to settings. And remember, you can always go back to content at any time. So settings is where I can do some additional tweakings, like I can actually give my landing page a name. It's my form, I'll call it a form. My free top tips form. That's the form that I use on my website for people to sign up for my top tips. And here's your options. Is it a form that you're going to embed, or is it a full landing page? Now I chose form, so we will do landing pages in the next one, so I'm just going to let that go. Okay. Now what should happen when a visitor subscribes? In other words, when somebody comes to your website and they type in their information, what happens next? Where are they redirected to? You can show them a message, right? Now check your email, or you can redirect them to another page. And a redirect is a great thing, especially if you're giving them something. You can give it to them immediately, which means when they're redirected to this page, whatever it is that you've given them will automatically pop up. They can download it, they can do whatever. So I'm just going to type in here an email. Okay. So where is the form going to go? Is it a landing page or is it a form? What should happen once the subscription is done? In other words, once they've plugged in their information and hit go or subscribe or yes or whatever the button says, what happens? Success message or redirect? I'm a fan of a redirect page. Take them to your website, take them or keep them on your website and upsell them or give them whatever it is they signed up for. Okay. And so you would just simply copy and paste that here. And then are they part of a sequence? Well, yeah, they are part of a sequence. They free opted in. So remember we looked at sequences when we created sequences in the last module. So forms are the best way to get people into a sequence, which is an autoresponder sequence. So choose that here and then add existing subscribers to this sequence, which means if there's already people that have subscribed to this form, but you didn't have a sequence set up, you can put them in the sequence by checking this box. And you can also make this sequence mandatory for all new subscribers to your program. Okay, so I'm just going to, and then save. Okay. So that's the first page. That's called the main settings. Then you have what's called the incentive email. An incentive email is for double opt-ins. And remember, a double opt-in means there's two steps. The first step is they fill out the form. The second step is they get an email where they have to click on a link that says, yes, it's me and I do want what I subscribed for. If you don't want to have a double opt-in, you simply remove the box. Checkbox, done. Okay. If you do want a double opt-in, and people are like, well, why would I want to have them do two steps? Because it creates what's called a cleaner list. People who really want something are going to take the extra step to confirm versus others may just sign up just to sign up and they really don't necessarily want what it is. So if you really want to have a cleaner list, which means less unsubscribes, less people saying you have spam, then you can do a double opt-in. Okay, so let's just say we're going to do a double opt-in. You can change who it comes from. You can edit here. You can change this line. Right? And then this is what it says. Thank you for signing up. Click the link below to confirm, and then whatever else. This button is what comes from the program. It's part of the system settings, so you can't really change this. You can change what it says, but you don't say anything else. Okay? And then you can put your name on here or whatever you want. And then you can have a thank you page. Okay, so this is cool. So this is above and beyond the redirect that we just did in the earlier settings. This is for double opt-ins only, which means if you have a single opt-in, you took the checkbox out, it's irrelevant. But if you do want them to have to confirm, after confirming, where should they go? Do they go to a URL, or do they get an incentive download? In other words, because they click on it, they get a free something right away. You could upload the file here. So I could click here, I'm just going to stick that in there. Okay. And so now in the confirmation email, they also get an incentive. They get a taste. Maybe it's your first treat. Maybe it's a first video. So those are your options. You can either send them to a URL that says, thank you for subscribing. It's been confirmed. Or you can also give them an incentive download. And then down here, you've got some special options: auto confirm new members and send subscriber data to a thank you page. So if you do redirect to a thank you page, it will send the person's name and information for you. Auto confirm new members means it automatically confirms any new members to this form, and then send subscriber data to a thank you page. Okay, so save. There we go. Okay, so that was incentive. Then you have style. Now remember, you already have the style that you chose originally, right? And you can actually add some custom CSS here if you really want to go overboard. I chose this one, but if I want to do the minimal, I can change the form style at any time. So if you didn't like the form style that you started with, you still have the ability to change it here. So you've got full, minimal, and naked, which is just this. Or you could show the full form. Inline, modal, which means it grays out the back, and slide in means it would slide over. Now, depending on the option that you choose, depends on what you get. Obviously, these are pretty standard, right? So if I go up here and save this, and I go back to content, okay, see my form is different, right? I don't have the image in there anymore because I chose a different style. So if you don't like the style you start with, you can go to settings, you can click on style, and you can choose a different one. Now, how do you want to see this? Inline, which means it's in line with the data. Modal, which means it's on top of the data. And notice when I chose modal, I get new options here. So depending on the form type that you get, depends on the options. So here we go. Show this form to visitors when they exit, okay? When they think the person's about to leave the page. When they scroll, right? If they scroll down the page 50%, 70%, I'll say 30%. Or within a time. So 3 options when ConvertKit thinks they're going to leave the page. Now that's kind of, there's some science behind that. If you want more control over when this box is shown, then you could do a timing, or you could do a scroll percentage. So timing is, say, after 10 seconds, this box will appear. You can also trigger the modal with a link. So I could put this link, and I could actually put some text in here so it would pop up. Simply add this to your link and set your reference. So you would actually put this on the page. So you would actually copy and paste this on a page. And we're going to talk about embedding a form in the next session. So we'll come back to that. How do you want it to display on devices? Mobile, show only on mobile, desktop, or all devices. And then any custom CSS that you want to add that will change the form even more. And then what should we do? What should we show to return visitors? So if somebody's already subscribed to this and this pop-up comes up, what do you want to show them? Do you want to show them the form? You want to hide the form. Sometimes they don't see it because the system knows they're already part of it. Or show a custom content to pitch them something else or to upsell them to something else. So if they've already signed up for your top freebies, maybe you ask them to maybe purchase a small program, right? So you could type that there. That's a great way to continue upselling. And I hit save form, okay? Now, modal is different. Now watch what happens if I choose slide in. I get additional display options. So each one of these gives me display options. So this one is sliding in from the left or the right. Again, scrolling or time. Where does it display, bottom left or bottom right? And how does it display? And then same questions. If somebody has already subscribed, do you want to see this form again? Do you want to hide it, or do you want to show custom content? Okay, so you've got all these different options when it comes to this. So that's style. Okay, we're going to talk embed in the next session, but this is where you can choose to embed it with JavaScript, raw HTML, or WordPress. There's a feature called Twitter cards. Now this is for Twitter ads. So if you're doing ads in Twitter, like Facebook has ads, if you're going to do ads in Twitter, there is a Twitter card that you can use for ads in Twitter. So you would log into your Twitter ads, and then you would go in to create your cards, and then you would simply select and copy the appropriate URLs. Now, it says here for instructions on Twitter cards, you can read the article. Now, I'm not going to go into detail to that because we're not doing Twitter ads, but this is a benefit to you because it will allow you to display your form as a Twitter ad if you run those. Okay, and then other options, you can duplicate, you can archive, and you can delete. Now, if you archive the form, it still works. It just doesn't show under the forms page. That's really the difference. Anytime you can view this, see what it looks like. Now remember, I chose the one that's going to slide in after so many seconds. I can't remember what my seconds were. Obviously longer than this. But I'll go back and go, okay, well, yeah, I said 10 seconds. Let's just do an inline one because we can see it immediately. There we go. There we go. So I just wanted to get a look to see what it looks like. Okay. Notice it says powered by ConvertPrint at the bottom. So to set it up, there, you have to choose the content, and you can set it up and then change the settings if you don't like the style. So I'll go with a naked one. See how that looks? Very, very simple. So it all depends on where you're going to place it. Where on the page are you going to place it? Are you going to put it in a widget on your WordPress site? Are you going to just put it in the middle of maybe a blog post or at the end of a blog post? All of it really depends on where you're putting the form, on what type of form that you're going to use. So remember, your styles are going to be different. For instance, if it's at the bottom of a blog post, something naked like this, the naked option, I should say, would be great. If you truly want a box, then you can go with full or minimal. And then remember, inline is going to show it immediately versus modal and slide in are going to be triggered by some activities, whether it's time or somebody scrolling. Okay, so that's forms. Now we just did a simple general form. The next session will be on landing pages, and then we're going to look at actually embedding these guys within. But remember, the real benefits of forms is it allows you to really automate your sequences. So we looked at our form settings, redirect message or page. We redirected them after they signed up on the form. Where did they go? They went to a thank you or a download page. Signing them to a sequence, whether or not we want to use a double opt-in, and if we do use double opt-in, we can also give them an incentive gift, if you will. The different styles, we're going to talk embed next. Twitter cards and other were the options. So what I'd like you to do is just create a simple form. You get to choose all the options. I'm not going to tell you how you want to do it. You get to pick and choose, customize it with the colors and what you want it to say, as well as the style that you want. Add the sequence to this form that you created in the last set of modules. Feel free to create a custom message, whether they are doing a double opt-in or not, but you could create a custom message there. Or if you would rather do not do a custom message, you could send them to a thank you or a download page. Remember, choose the style that works best, and feel free to go back in and edit it at any time. You can easily edit a form by going to the Forms menu and choosing the form. Just click on it. Brings it right up. Okay? So as always, if you have any questions, feel free to click the help button in the upper right-hand corner, send us an email, members@techiementor.com, post in our private Facebook group, or feel free to comment below, and I'll see you in the next session. Bye.